if you were to bring the black share of wealth at least to the black share of the population, it would require an additional at least $10 trillion.
But if we were paid those unskilled wages at a 6% interest rate, we would have $6.2 quadrillion that we would be owed today.
Reparations is the key. The story have black folks come and talk about what kind of hell they live and have people have to listen. Reparations will set us free.
Ashe to Miss Tracy Braxton, who unfortunately passed away 50 from cancer. Toni Braxton took to Instagram and penned a heartfelt message saying, "It is with the utmost regret that we inform you of the passing of our sister Tracy. Needless to say, she was a bright light, a wonderful daughter, an amazing sister, a loving mother, wife, grandmother, and a respected performer. We will miss her dearly."
Rest in peace, gone way too soon. Also gone way too soon, we have Emmett Till's family want the Department of Justice to reopen his case. This was posted on March 13th, 2022. Emmett Till's family wants the U.S. Department to overturn their decision to close the investigation of the black teenager's 1955 lynching, according to Associated Press. August 1955 in Mississippi, Roy Bryant and his half-brother, J.W. Milam, kidnapped the 14-year-old black boy from Chicago for whistling at Bryant's wife, now known as Carolyn Bryant Donham. The two men tortured the Till, shot him in the head, attached a 75-pound cotton gin fan to his neck using barbed wire, and threw his body into the Tallahatchie River. Detectives discovered his decomposed remains on August 13th, the New York Times reports. An all-white jury acquitted Bryant and Milam, who later admitted to killing Till in an interview with Look magazine, according to AP. Till's family and supporters want to bring Carolyn Bryant Donham, who lives in North Carolina, to justice before it's too late. Government authorities reopened Till's case when the 2017 Blood of Emmett Till novel by historian Timothy B. Tyson documented that Donham confessed to lying that Till attacked her. However, there was no proof to verify his record. Her family members also denied that she recanted her testimony, and Donham told the FBI that she still stands by her story, the Justice Department reported, according to ABC News. On Monday, the Senate passed the Emmett Till Anti-Lynching Act of 2022, which makes lynching a federal hate crime, and now President Joe Biden's signature to make the bill into official law, CNN reports. So, do you think old Joe is gonna put his Joe Hancock on this anti-lynching, long overdue anti-lynching bill, turn it into law?
Yeah, he should. I mean, if it's already, according to this story, already passed through the legislature, yeah.
Stay tuned.
Speaking of Joe Biden, why are U.S. gas prices soaring when America barely uses Russian oil? So why is Russian oil affecting the U.S.? Most of Russia's oil goes to Europe and Asia, but the key here is to think about the oil supply globally rather than U.S. specifically. The commodities world is a heavily interconnected one, and oil is priced through a global market. So what happens in one area of the world can affect another. The problem at hand is that Russia is one of the world's biggest oil suppliers. In December, for example, Russia sent nearly 8 million barrels of oil and other petroleum products to global markets, including 5 million barrels of the crude oil that's used to make gasoline, among other items. And yes, it's true that very little of the Russian supply goes to the United States, just 90,000 barrels of crude oil per day in December, according to the most recent U.S. government statistics. In 2021, by contrast, Europe got 60% of Russia's oil exports and China got 20%. But remember that oil is bought and shipped around the world through a global commodities market. So in that sense, it doesn't really matter who specifically is getting crunched by the loss of Russian oil, because lower supply affects those global prices no matter what. And as we know from Economics 101, when there's less supply of an item in demand, prices rise.
So did they say 90,000 barrels a day? That sounds like a lot.
That sounds like a lot to me too, but I guess in terms of, gas, maybe it's not. I don't know. Jesse Smollett sentenced to 150 days in jail in fake attack. A judge sentenced Jesse Smollett to 150 days in jail Thursday, branding black and gay actor a narcissistic charlatan for staging a hate crime against himself to grab the limelight while the nation struggled with wrenching issues of racial injustice. Smollett responded by defiantly maintaining his innocence and suggesting he could be killed in jail.
Let's take a look at the court proceedings.
And you will spend the first 150 days of your sentence in the Cook County Jail. And that will start today, right here, right now.
No, I would just like to say to Your Honor that I am not suicidal. That's what I would like to say.
Okay.
I am not suicidal.
Okay.
I am not suicidal. I am innocent, and I am not suicidal. If I did this, then it means that I stuck my fist in the fears of black Americans in this country for over 400 years and the fears of the LGBTQ community. Your Honor, I respect you and I respect the jury, but I did not do this. I am not suicidal. I am not suicidal, and I am innocent. I could have said that I was guilty a long time ago.
Wow.
So was he brave and what did he say? Sticking his fist in the fear of 400 years?
I don't know what the brother said.
All right, Jesse. Well, we have an update to this story. Looks like Jesse Smollett moved out of psych ward into jail cell with a bed, Brother Jacques says. And this comes from Yahoo News on Tuesday, March 15th. Jesse Smollett has been moved from a psych ward and into a jail cell with a bed, according to his brother Jacques Smollett. Jacques took to his brother's official Instagram account early Tuesday with a video message to the former Empire actor supporters with a day 5 update. Quote, "So I just got to see him. Just want to give y'all an update on his status. Thank you so much for the support. All the hashtag free Jesse. It's working. He's now been moved to a new jail cell out of the psych ward that has a bed. Before he was sleeping on a restrained bed, and now he has been moved to a jail cell that has an actual bed. Thank you so much. That's really because of all the free Jesse that's been going on. It's all the pressure we're applying to Cook County and Cook County Jail," Jacques explained. Jesse's brother went on to slam the Cook County and its jail. All right, so it looks like he's beginning his jail sentence in an actual bed. I guess that's good news for Jesse.
All right. So the rise of white nationalist Hispanics. Nick Fuentes, identified as a, quote, white supremacist, end quote, in Justice Department filings made headlines last week for hosting a white nationalist conference in Florida. His father is also half Mexican American. The big picture, Fuentes is part of a small but increasingly visible number of far-right provocateurs with Hispanic backgrounds who spread racist, anti-Semitic messages. Driving the news, Cuban-American Enrique Tarrio the former leader of the Proud Boys, a group the Anti-Defamation League calls an extremist group with a violent agenda, was arrested Tuesday and charged with conspiracy in connection to the January 6th Capitol riot. What they're saying, experts tell Axios, far-right extremism with the Latino community stems from three sources: Hispanic Americans who identify as white, the spread of online misinformation, and lingering anti-Black, anti-Semitic views among U.S. Latinos that are rarely openly discussed. Brian Levin, director of the Center for the Study of Hate and Extremism at Cal State University, said in an interview that the trend is part of the mutation that takes place as a racist fringe tries to become more mainstream. Racism is deeply rooted in Latin American and Caribbean nations where slavery was common. Tanya K. Hernandez, a Fordham University law professor and author of the upcoming book Racial Innocence: Unmasking Latino Anti-Black Bias, told Axios. In Latin America, white supremacy is alive and well. Even families who have been in the U.S. for generations can often bring those biases with them. But, there are limits to how accepted some far-right Latino activists can become in white supremacist and neo-Nazi circles. Mark Pichkavage, a senior research fellow at the ADL Center on Extremism, told Axios, some extremists on 4chan and 8chan say Fuentes' Latino heritage disqualifies him from speaking on white supremacy. Pichkavich said, meanwhile, some white supremacist elements of the Proud Boys dismissed Tario as a leader, but so far he has withstood the criticism, said Pichkavich, who monitors the chats. Tario's lawyer, Lucas Dancy, did not respond to emails seeking comment. Fuentes American First Foundation also did not respond to requests for comment.
Wow, so getting it from all sides, and Sacramento being a sanctuary city, we get the pick of the bunch, including there was an article that just came out that Sacramento is going to be receiving the Ukrainian Nazi refugees soon. So coming soon to a sanctuary city near you. SNL has a go at Amazon Go and spoof on how white and Black shoppers may view Just Walk Out tech. Are people really convinced that it's safe to just grab and go from the cashless Amazon Go store? Depends on who they are, as far as Saturday Night Live is concerned. The show had a go at Go convenience stores on Saturday night in a fake commercial portraying how white and Black shoppers may view Amazon's technology a bit differently. Quote, at an Amazon store, you can just walk in, grab what you want, put it in your bag, and just go, the voiceover says. So I just grab what I want and I can leave? Wow, that's so easy, one white shopper, Heidi Gartner, says in the spoof. Quote, so you want me to just take something and walk out? Nah, son, says a Black shopper, Keenan Thompson, before adding, nice try. Actress Zoe Kravitz, the Batman, hosted in SNL this weekend and appears in the spoof as a shopper who is afraid to grab a bottle of kombucha as her white boyfriend and has her white boyfriend do it instead. When she exits the store, she holds up her hands and screams, I'm with him. The first Amazon Go store opened in Seattle in January 2018. Just Walk Out refers to the technology that makes the stores actually go with an array of overhead cameras and shelf sensors to track what shoppers are picking up. The tech is now used in some larger Amazon Fresh and Whole Foods grocery stores, as well as places such as Seattle Climate Pledge Arena. So, I really do see that there could be some problematic implications to this Just Walk Out tech. How you feel about it?
Yeah, well, I first of all, I did see the Batman, so I might actually do a review on that one. Zoe played she did really good in it. Shout out to Zoe Kravitz. As far as the tech is concerned, yeah, this could just be another issue with race, where black people could possibly be targeted again
Right, or more
from
heavily
AI.
scrutinized at the
Yeah.
very least. Already have to deal with, profiling while black and shopping while black. So I just see it opening up a whole nother can of worms.
Yeah, and on top of it, for this whole AI trend that's happening right now, more specifically with automation, it doesn't help the average day worker, you know, who needs a job. And so you can have all the AI and bots and robots and all the other stuff you want, but if you don't have people who are actually working those jobs, we live in a capitalist society, right? How then do you then justify AI and automation when people run the economy, not artificial intelligence?
Yeah, this just sounds bad for black folk all around. So just cut the check. We'll take cash.
Speaking of cash, oh yeah, I guess I'm doing this one too. Wells Fargo approved less than half its black homeowner refinancing applications in 2020. The nation's third largest bank had the biggest approval gap rate by race, a Bloomberg analysis found, but its officials refute those findings. A Bloomberg News analysis published Friday, March 11th, uncovered a significant racial disparity in refinancing approval rates between black and white homeowners in 2020 at one of the nation's largest banks in an industry with a history of racial discrimination. Wells Fargo, the third largest commercial bank in the United States, had the biggest disparity in a banking system that already rejects more black homeowner applications than it approves. It approved only 40% of black homeowners refinance applications, but 72% of applications from whites. In response, Wells Fargo didn't dispute Bloomberg's figures, but insisted that it doesn't discriminate among potential borrowers. The bank said it's more selective than other lenders when it comes to, quote, additional legitimate credit-related factors, end quote. However, Bloomberg found that selectivity didn't account for Wells Fargo's record of racial inequality in refinancing applications compared to the wider industry. Yeah, I think we should. We're probably going to most likely do a show on the subpoena power for the task force, and definitely the banking industry needs to be subpoenaed.
Yeah, they need to be right up at the top. I mean, this line is textbook where they say, oh, we don't discriminate. That's the same thing Chase Bank told me when I asked for data on, the modification process in the 2008 housing downturn. They say, oh, we don't discriminate, but we're not going to give you that data. And it's like, okay, well, how do we know, what the numbers look like if you're not willing to release that information? So the only way they're going to give up the data on their discriminatory practices is if it is mandated through subpoena, unfortunately. All right. Also, with the housing market, Sacramento housing prices surge in February, setting new records. Home prices shot up dramatically last month in the Sacramento area, according to experts who track the numbers. The median price for a home in the Sacramento region in February was $590,000, up $31,000 from a month ago. The largest dollar increase ever at this time of year. The trend points to another very aggressive market in the months to come, much like last year's record-breaking rise in housing values. Cap Radio's Randall White discussed the recent numbers with certified residential appraiser and housing analyst Ryan Lundquist. Interview highlights. It doesn't say who's speaking in this interview, but I'll just read a couple of excerpts. Help us put last month's pricing spike into context. It was record-breaking by some measures, was it not? Yeah, it was. And normally, prices do increase from January to February. It's part of a normal rhythm. But last month, in our 11th year, our price growth, we saw the median price tick up by 31,000, or basically about 5.5%, when a normal year is more like 2 to 3%. And so the phenomenal growth for this late in price cycle. And so it's a phenomenal growth for this late in the price cycle. All right, so what this tells me, a $31,000 increase. If we look at the Evanston's housing reparation voucher initiative that's taking place there, that's only $25,000 towards housing initiatives in that package. So that's not even enough, to cover this $31,000 increase. Is my takeaway from this story, and also that it's just too expensive to buy anything in Sacramento.
Yeah, it's pretty much getting that way in pretty much all of California.
Right, but
I mean,
Sacramento seems to always be leading the trend.
yeah, and leading the trend in this housing increase, right? But they're definitely not leading the trend when it comes to cost of living. I tell you that
No,
much.
not at all, which is what makes it ridiculous. And I mean, we've gone over this with the Bay Area transplants that are coming in and buying up all the housing market. Also, the corrupt corporate buyers like BlackRock that bought up a large swath of the housing inventory. I mean, it's really just criminal.
Yep, and this is another industry that needs to be subpoenaed. So
Yes.
yeah, so should we take a look at a video and then we'll go to
All right, let's take a look at what we have here going on.
Ryan
Speaking
Coogler.
of criminals, or supposed criminals.
Come here, everybody. Come this way. Put your hand behind your back. Got it.
Is there any reason y'all doing this, bro?
Give me 1 second. Hold on. What's going on, my man?
Trying to put money on my own.
You said what? Yeah, this your phone?
It is, sir.
Black Panther director Ryan Coogler mistaken for a bank robber in Atlanta. We deeply regret that this incident occurred. Bank of America said in a statement about the episode on January 7th, it never should have happened, and we have apologized to Mr. Coogler.
All right, let's take a listen to the audio teller. I call this the tattle teller, who called in a report on Ryan Coogler as he was trying to withdraw funds from his own money from his own bank account.
Customer passed me a note, and so I just told my manager I didn't feel comfortable. So he told me to call police while he, I guess, stalled for
What
a
is
minute.
what is on the note, ma'am?
It just says I want to withdraw $12,000. Just be discreet.
Is this an actual customer, or are they trying to rob the bank?
They had a debit card, and he inserted it. He gave me a California ID, but I was like, okay. I was like, how do you want the cash back? And he's like, just look at the note.
And he had no weapons, correct?
Not that I know of. He just has on black sunshades and a black hat.
Is he a black male, white male?
He's a black male. And every time I ask him like a question, he's like, look at the note.
So, okay.
But he inserted his debit card, and then I asked for his ID. He handed me his ID as a California ID. but I didn't look at his name because I'm just like so shook up. Like, I don't know what he's trying to do. So I just told him, give me one moment. You know, I have to get my manager.
Okay, so none of his information was even verified. Okay. He might just want to be discreet, but I have police en route.
Yeah, I mean, he might. It just seemed weird.
Banking while black. Yeah, the teller said she was shook up.
She said she was so shook up that she couldn't even look at the ID to verify that he was a actual customer.
Wow. Come on, fam.
Yeah, banking while black, for sure. So, the good thing, that could have ended much worse. So thankfully it didn't, and hopefully it'll shine light on the issue so more of our brothers and sisters don't have to go up through this when trying to, gain access to their own hard-earned money.
Yeah, and that just kind of just goes to show you that it doesn't matter if you're. Oh, you can go back to the next one because actually it's segueing into celebrity. And I was gonna say that it doesn't matter if you're a quote unquote celebrity or not.
No, and speaking
When you're
of,
black.
when you're black, right? And here's another duo that just recently came into some fundings, even though it's being questioned in this article just how much. But the documentary filmmakers who produced the Genius documentary, a Kanye West trilogy, Cody and Chike, took over 20 years to make the Kanye West doc. But did Netflix pay them $30 million? There's been reports that they were paid $30 million for their footage that took them 40 years to accumulate. Okay, so Cody and Kike reportedly got a nice payday for the Kanye West documentary, and it took them more than 20 years to get it. According to the New York Daily News, Cody and Kike reportedly received $30 million for the Genius documentary, a hit doc that is currently streaming on Netflix about Kanye West. Billboard also reports that it took the filmmaker pair more than 20 years to finish the doc, thanks to the filmmaker's surgical precision in documenting nearly every aspect of the 808 and Heartbreak rapper's life. And while a source familiar with the production told Entertainment Tonight that the acquisition figure is inaccurate, what's clear is that Genius details aspects of West's life that were previously unavailable to his fan base and the general public. Cody and Kike used home videos, never before seen footage, and other exclusive content to chronicle West's rise. From the car accident that caused him to get a whole new mouth to the passing of his beloved mother, Dr. Donda West, West's lives have been documented in a way that has never been seen before or since. And whether the $30 million acquisition figure is accurate or not, the pair certainly are overdue to receive their flowers. That is quite dedication to follow subject matter for 20 years. As a documentary filmmaker, I would certainly say they deserve their flowers.
Oh yeah, for sure. And shout out to you. I was not going to even remotely even waste my time watching it, but so far I'm one of 3 episodes into watching it, and it's good.
It is a good documentary, and what I really find most fascinating about it is, like I just said, the dedication of these documentary filmmakers just to chronicle, his rise to fame like that before he was even anybody. So they just really believed in him as much as Kanye believes in himself.
There you go. How Black Men Changed the World. A Smithsonian traveling exhibition powerfully dismantles corrosive myths with triumphant portraits and the stories of African American men. Too often, Black men are seen as threatening over the generations, whether they are boys like Emmett Till, Tamir Rice, or Trayvon Martin, or adults like Philando Castile, Eric Garner, or George Floyd, or the thousands of victims of lynching in the 19th and 20th centuries. Their deaths were made to seem justified by a fear based solely on their race. Only on rare occasions is someone held accountable. It's even evident with the recent murder of Ahmaud Arbery, killed by three men. Well, there were three white men specifically, while he was out for a run, that the lynching of black men is still happening today. The Smithsonian traveling exhibition, Men of Change, Power, Triumph, Truth, now on view at the Reginald F. Lewis Museum of Maryland African American History and Culture, delivers a world of ideas about who black men actually are and works to dismantle myths. The show supports the diversity of black male identities in their capacity as role models and amplifies the many positive ways their work and endeavors impact the black community and the world.
A bit of good news. Shout out to black men who have changed the world. You also deserve your flowers.
Yeah, peace out to all the brothers who are putting in work,
And if this traveling museum gets anywhere near Northern California, I'd like to go check it out.
Definitely.
All right. Also in the news, a fourth dose of COVID-19 vaccine will be needed, Pfizer CEO says, but the company is working on a shot to handle all variants. CNN. To fend off another wave of COVID-19, people will need a fourth dose of vaccine, Pfizer CEO Albert Bourla told CBS on Sunday. Many variants are coming, and Omicron is the first one that was able to evade, in a skillful way, the immune protection that we are giving, Bourla told CBS Face the Nation. Quote, the protection we are getting from the third dose, it is good enough, actually quite good for hospitalizations and death, Bourla said. But protection after 3 doses is not that good against infections and doesn't last very long when faced with variants like Omicron. Quote, it is necessary a fourth dose for right now, Bourla told CBS. Currently, anyone ages 12 and up who got a second dose of the Pfizer vaccine at least 5 months ago can go and get a third dose. So there you have it.
All right.
And that's in the news.